Hello and welcome to another episode of Tour de Core, the training wheel series. And in this series I've been showing my approach to building a WordPress site from scratch. In the previous episode we got somewhat further down the line into designing the WordPress site and specifically applying the mobile version of the design for the site. And this here is obviously not the style version, but once I run the build script, it will show us the actual styled version of the site. Webpack is gonna build all the stuff and then turn on browser sync, and we'll get a new tab in the browser where we can see all of the latest changes to the design. There we go. And since I'm working on the mobile version, I'll go to that real quick. Okay, so here's our menu with a button that you can't see when it gets started. That's fine. Okay, let me find the actual design as well to see how it looks like. And here's the design. One second. So here's the design. I do need to keep working on it. I think I'll work on the footer next. But I think I had some of the footer done already. I guess not. Yeah, I'll work on the footer next. Where I'm gonna use some widgets and whatnot, and then we'll take it to the next part of the site. Okay, so here's my what's the one? Okay, here's the footer. So we have a widget that has a few pages in there, essentially a menu pretty much. A contact us widget, which let me see if I can find. These are the mobile pages only currently. Okay, well, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be here in the on the desktop version, but right now it's just a link. So we'll just treat this as a link for now. And we have the social media with the different icons. And then we have the copyright notice at the bottom. So the easiest part is actually the copyright notice. I might just start with that. So let's go back over to our code. And we need to find a blade view that renders a footer. Okay, so we have our views folder, and if we open the app layout, we can look at the general layout of the page, and we can look for the part that renders the footer on every page. So here we have an include for partials.footer. If I press Ctrl B, it takes me directly to the definition, but if that doesn't work for you, or I guess this will probably be go to declaration or whatever it's called in your editor of choice, then you can find it in the partials folder and then footer.blade.php. Alternatively, what you can do as well is use whatever shortcut you have on your editor to go to a specific file, and PHP store methods Ctrl-Shift-N, and then just type footer.blade.php, and you should be able to find it. Okay, so inside of the footer, right now we just have a dynamic sidebar. That's about it, and then we have the footer closing out down there. What I think I'm going to do, so we have our container. We do want to keep that, certainly. But I'm going to add in here another section called footer or div in this case, footer. Footer copyright, for example, and then I'm gonna have just a paragraph right now with the text that I need, which is essentially copyright, date, year, all rights reserved, period, and then let's get this like this. I'm gonna add a new line, a break, sign, and develop by development. Okay. And again, if you're not familiar with the syntax, blade templates allow you to essentially echo stuff. So this right here is not fully, but it's somewhat similar to doing just echo date y and then closing the PHP tag. In this case, it also does some sanitization, so I'm not 100% sure, but maybe it's like HTML entities, perhaps, is what it's running there. With the idea that you can just take, and don't quote me on this, but I think you can just take most user input and just safely output it. So let's see if we put let's see if we save this. We go over to the browser. There we go. As you can see, the script has been escaped, and so we don't actually get, an alert. If you are certain about the, quality of your variables or whatever, and you actually don't want it to be escaped, there we go. That's the other way to do it, with the exclamation marks. So if we save this, we'll actually get the alert, I'm pretty sure. Alert? Oh, yeah, there we go. Once we reloaded the page, it executed. So, yeah. In most cases, I think in very few cases, you're gonna run into this situation where you're gonna want to actually use the non-save version of the tag. So in this case, since we don't have any HTML in our date output in the year, we just do that instead. Okay. So the next thing to do, and if we come over here to the browser, you can see that the copyright part is now being displayed at the footer of the site. The next part would be to obviously style it. So if we take this over here, we can see that it's more than the rest of the text. It is a different color. Let me check first. I can't select this right now. Let me try something. Yeah, okay, that kind of worked. Okay. Let's see if I can still. Okay. Yeah, not ideal. That does work though. So I'm gonna want to copy over the color. Well, I guess we already have this color in a variable somewhere. And obviously I want to center align this text instead of having it left aligned as it is right now over here. Okay, yeah, so to do this, we need to find our SAS files. So here's resources, assets, styles. We have main CSS, but in the layouts folder we have footer as CSS. And this is a place where we should keep like most of the styling for a footer. At least it just makes logical sense to do so. And so what I'm going to do is target footer copyright and say that I want the cover to be primary cover, I think. Let's see. Stars, common variables, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's our primary cover. Yep, that is correct. Where's footer CSS? There we go. So we want to have that primary cover, and we want to also say text line center text. And the next part that I would want to do is make sure that the anchor has text decoration underline in order to get that underscore. I mean underline on the link. Let's wait for completion. Unexpected white space. Okay, I will get rid of this white space. Yeah, so we can see the error right here as well. Close the terminal. There it is. Unexpected white space at the end of the line, and it tells us which rule exactly is causing this. So right now what it's doing is there's not actually a syntactic error, but it's just failing to pass the linting rules, which are essentially just the rules that you want your code to follow. I guess visually, more or less. Some of those are definitely useful for preventing actual errors, but some of those are just to make sure that you stick to whatever standard you have selected. And it does give us, so it says the file that it's in, and then line 4, the first character, and line 4, we have this tab here. We'll get rid of it. I should be able to just compile. So compiling, a little bit for it, and then done. Switch over to the browser, we see that our copyright is now the correct color. We have the underline on the link. I have a feeling we don't have the correct size. So here it says 10 pixels. I'm pretty sure this is not 10 pixels. So if we go to compute it, the computer tab, font size is 16 pixels, which is way too big. Definitely don't want it to be this big. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and say that also the font size should be, I feel like maybe not 10 pixels, but I don't know. Well, let's take a look. I feel like it's going to be way too small compared to everything else. Oh, it is very small. Okay, so it is 10 pixels now, 10 pixels proper. But I feel like it should be something like maybe 13, if the rest of our text is 16. Okay, it's a little bit better. Oh, why is it Elma City? This is the only one that is actually this font. Let me check. Elma City. I think like this was the only text on the site that used it. I guess we have Tangerine here. The city, Tangerine. Yeah, maybe that's right. I don't know if I'll actually stick with that. Yeah. See, it's kind of pointless to have like this whole font load just because of one single line of text. That just doesn't make sense. Yeah, right now we have Elma City and Tangerine only, so I'll leave it at that. And I'm looking over here at the Google fonts that are being loaded on the site. Right now we have Elma City and Tangerine, so I'll just leave it at that. Well, I could lower my microphone as well, in general. But, I mean, yeah, it's a loud keyboard, not for streaming, but it's so satisfying. Yeah, I like the clickiness of the keyboard. It's so yeah, they do pick the microphones really. Let me try. Yeah, it's a loud keyboard. Certainly, I could have gone with the less loud version. I think these are. I think those are the blue switches. Let's say I could have gone with like the brown switches. But yeah, I like the clickiness. Very fun. And hi. Okay, so the footer copyright stuff is done. Okay, I could do social media next. Actually, let's just play around with the widgets that we already have and see what happens. So if we do, I don't need any of those. I don't know if I need the primary sidebar in the first place. I'll probably get rid of it further down the line when I am certain that I don't need it. So now I'm just going to use the main menu that we already have. The design says there should be content. Okay, I guess. Content. And is this the same menu that we have? Home, about, team. Okay, I guess not the same menu. I guess I'll have to create a different menu. Okay, let's save it for now. I'll go ahead and create a new menu. Like this. So home, about, team. Okay. Create a new menu. Create a menu. Oh yeah, right. And I think the homepage was the team introducing Heresy. Okay, that's a menu. This will be home. And I'll just add a bunch of custom links for right now. About team, Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 2. Content contact. Okay, and I will save this menu and go back to the widgets. Just reload the page and select the menu, footer menu, save. And if we reload the home page, there's our menu: home, about, team, Age of Empires, content contact. Okay, that's cool. So it seems like this is quite narrow compared to the rest of the site. Maybe not. This is for what? Yeah, it depends. Okay. What is this at? 60. Imagine that. It should probably be 60 on both sides. More or less. Yeah, okay. So 60 on both sides. So I think I might do as I might say that I want this container to have 60 pixels on either side. Yeah, I think that should do the trick. Okay, let's see. So if we go back to the code and to footer CSS, I'll go to footer and then my container. Yeah, that should be fine, I think. Footer container, we want it to have I don't know how in like 9 years of coding I never remembered which argument goes where for padding. And I got it wrong, of course. Okay. Let's see. That should be better. There we go. Okay. Cool. Okay. Now there's a bunch of spacing between between the heading, which it's kind of okay-ish, but between the two widgets, and I should be using calc here. Calc 60 instead of just 60 pixels hard-coded. Okay. Also, what I should do is target our widget here and say that it should have I'd say maybe like 40 pixels bottom margin, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. And then I also want to. Why is this list item inline? Let's display list item. Something's not right here. Oh, yikes. Okay. It's this menu class. If we don't have this menu class, we'll display more properly. Oh, well, that's obnoxious. Well, I think we have a great opportunity to look into default widgets. Yes. So we're going to look into the code that renders the menu widget and see if there's any way to like get rid of this menu class on there, because I definitely don't want it there, and I don't want to override like all of the CSS that's being applied to it. So WordPress has this file default widgets PHP, which essentially defines all of the core widgets that are within WordPress, and all it does is it requires all of the different widgets that WordPress core in itself registers, and these are like all of your standard widgets, and that's how we can get to. It's one way to get to the widget that we're looking for. So I think this is like the custom menu. No, menu. Okay, yeah, nav menu, the OP nav menu widget. And if I go to this file, again, I just use Control B to automatically go to this file. But if you don't, that doesn't work, then again, just go to File and enter the file name in there. Okay. So with the widgets API, their widgets are essentially classes that extend the base WP widget class, or another class that already extends WP widget. And they have a method that actually renders the widget itself. There's a bunch of methods, but specifically, we're looking for the widget. Yes, the widget method outputs the content for the current navigation menu widget instance. Yeah, so what we're looking for here are these arguments. Okay, menu. Yes, there we go. See, we have apply filters, widget nav menu args. It's not perfect, certainly, because I would override any menu widgets attaching to this filter. But knowing that so far I only have a sidebar area on the footer of the site, then I feel comfortable doing that, honestly. One way to potentially get around this would be, I guess, to so in this case, in our app plate view, we have a do action for get footer. So I guess I could hook on to that action to add the filter then, and then maybe hook it again to WP footer, another function to WP footer to get rid of the filter at that point. That way I'm only gonna be, I'll be certain that I'm only touching the nav menu widgets that are in the footer, but in this case, honestly, I don't think that's necessary. So what we want to do right now are a couple of things. First of all, let's find where to actually add this footer. I'm not sure with the way that Sage is set up. Oh, there's a filters file. That seems okay. That seems like a pretty good place for it. Cool. I'm not sure how I feel about anonymous functions, but I guess I could use them in this case. I certainly don't recommend using anonymous functions when you are writing a plugin, or even a theme that you expect someone to create a child theme for, because it's significantly more difficult, if not impossible. Significantly more difficult, let's say that way, to actually remove this filter. Because with the WordPress filters, actions and filters API, what you can do is, if you register your filter like this, and then my function, or my filter function, or whatever, someone can then just call remove filter, just get rid of your filter. And so my filter function will no longer be executed for widget nav menu Rx filter, which is good, convenient, because it lets other people, get better control of the code that you're going to be running and potentially disable it if they want to. Whereas if you use an anonymous function, unless you pass the exact same function, which is unlikely, it's much more difficult to actually remove that. It's still possible. I'm not sure about anonymous functions. It's certainly possible about methods of classes of objects. I haven't tried with anonymous functions, but I imagine it's probably still possible, just very not fun to figure out. With that being said, okay, so we have our filter for widget nav menu Rx. The next thing that we want to do is actually look at the open nav menu function. So I'm just going to write it out here so that I can go to the definition. And what we want to find is this parameter. So these are all the defaults for the open nav menu. They're defined here very conveniently. So to me, this is faster than actually looking it up in the documentation online. As you saw, it was just one click away. But if you do look it up online, if that's what you prefer, you can just look up the open nav menu and open the documentation, and usually it has those same things listed. Some functions don't have documentation yet. So that's where being able to actually read the source code is very helpful. But the more frequently used ones have a good documentation anyway. With that being said, though, so I just learned that I essentially just want to get rid of this menu class. So I'll just set it to an empty string, and I'll return the arguments. And all we should see now in the browser, let me reload the page just to be sure, there is that we no longer have the menu class applied to our footer menu, which is great, which is exactly what we want, because based off of this menu class, our menu is getting some styling that we have to undo. So now we can just work with it this way. So as you can see, it's quite easy to actually figure out what WordPress does, what the WordPress core does, and use one of the provided filters to improve it, fix it, or add, remove functionality, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that solves our problem. Now the next part would be to actually style the menu properly. So we want to get rid of the dots. We want to fix like the font size and whatnot. And what is the width of this page? 375. Okay, let me switch to 375. Oh, really? We are at that. Well, okay, I'll leave it at that right now. By design, this should all fit on one line down here. I'm guessing it's because the font size is like much smaller. What's the font size on this? 14 pixels. That is quite small. That is quite small. I'm unsure. Okay. Anyway, so we have, this is white, which is good. And the links are in the correct color as well. That's also good. 27 pixels. I'm pretty sure this is not even close. 27 pixels right now. 19. Okay. So yeah, we need to increase the size on heading, and potentially adjust the size on. Yeah, it's 16 pixels currently. I have a feeling it should be. I mean, I have a feeling 14 is gonna be too small. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at 16 for now. Yeah. You know, it's easy to adjust sizes later on. I mean, it's easy to, you know, get them back, but I feel like it just looks better at 16 instead of 14. Okay, but anyway, this should be 27. So what I need to do is I need to target and the footer CSS, SCSS, footer, widget, now we can just say screen, font size, one tag, 27 pixels, no pixels here, sorry. And then inside of our widget, we want our URL to have list style, come on, list style none. So that will improve things a little bit. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. So what I need to do is, let me get rid of this font size 14 pixels first. Okay, so next thing is to get rid of this UL margin here. So I said list down on, I'm gonna also say margin 0. So that's gonna improve that. What else do I have from the design? Spacing seems to be slightly larger than what I have currently. Yeah. I guess we can keep it at that for now. Okay. Okay, so this is fine. The next thing to do would be to add the next widget in there, which again I think relies on a custom menu. I'm not sure why, but we'll do that anyway. I guess maybe footer content menu. That's what we should save this as. Create a new menu. Footer contact menu. That's what I'll call this one. And then just add one link called management. Again, I'm not exactly sure how it should function yet, but it's something that I would clear up for John. Now back to the widgets. I'm going to add one more custom menu widget, if I can only find it. Navigation menu, right? Okay, and you said this one should say contact us. Okay, let's save this. There we go. Footer contact menu. There we go. This is fine. And if we reload the page, we see that we have one more menu down there, which is cool. Let's see, the spacing seems about right actually, surprisingly. Okay, that's nice. Wait. Oh, okay. I eyeballed the margin there. Seems about right to me. Okay, cool. Then we need a social media widget. So here's another chance to take a look at the widgets API again. What I can do is I can create a custom widget. In this case, they're not very pretty. One thing you can do, although I probably will not do in this case, is you can have a base widget class that you create on your own that kind of like handles updating the, like saving the information, creating the fields inside of your widget and stuff like that. Since I'm only going to be building one widget so far, there's not really much of a point to do that. But you could do that in case you're planning to do more than one widget. Those can, or you often build widgets in your custom WordPress sites. Those can be quite helpful. So the approach that I remember seeing from the first place I worked at was essentially, if we look at the menu, if we look at the nav menu widget, for example. So here's what we have here, right? We have the constructor, which is pretty standard. There's not much there. So I think this was kept. You have the widget function, which for every widget is going to be different. So you're going to definitely override this one. Although you could put like some extra stuff in here. Like you could put wrappers around your widgets or something like that. But then the update and the form can be actually defined within a base widget. So in this case, they have title and nav menu. What you can do is, for example, in your, okay, let me copy this over. So I'm going a little bit off course here, but I will kind of show you the idea of scratch. And where's my scratch file? Yes, please. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have, say my custom widget, right? And what we can have here is class my custom base widget. That extends the OP widget, right? And so now my custom widget is going to extend my custom base widget. what we're going to do here, for example, is we can have our form, right? So this is our form, and right now what we have in here is a whole lot of stuff, right? Like we have all of this HTML and whatnot in here. So what we would probably do is say we can define text with fields as an array, and so maybe that's silly. Okay, so then we can say that this field, and again, this is not perfect. It's just some random code, more or less, that I'm throwing out there. But you know, we can define. So we have, I think we have two fields here: title and last video, right? So we have title. You know, string is not string. Of type string, and then that menu of type menu, or menu select, or whatever, right? And so we define our fields. It's not declared. What? Protected fields. Since manipulate custom base widget. That's not true. Anyway, so what we can do here, right, is we can do something like this. We can go through all the fields that we have defined as name and type, and then we can switch here. What's the type? We can do, let's grab some of this HTML because it's convenient. So what we do here, close this paragraph. And so in case we have like text, then we're gonna do this thing right here. I don't care about this, honestly, right here. But I would do, wait, that is not what I want. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah, 1 second. This is just a paragraph. Outside of the breach, we have just closing bit for the breach. We have this opening div. Okay, and so in here, what we're doing is, if we have a text field, then we're going to call this get field ID, field name, name. I guess there's some more stuff that we can do here in our definitions, but I'm just going to, you know, use words. Name. For example, like again, it's just a really bare bones one. But when we have a text field, we can just do input type text, blah blah blah, get field ID, this is called the name, get field name, and the name variable. And instead of this title comes from, come down here to the form, the original form one. There we go. What we do is we can say value equals if it's set instance name then an instance name, otherwise, an empty string, or whatever. Don't care about this. And so instead of title, we do value here. And then on the other hand, so this is a case break. If we have now menu, then we render the other type of interface and menu select. Okay, menu select. Then we render the menu select thing. And you could take this label outside right here, so you don't have to repeat it all the time. For example, just like that. Okay. There we go. And again, this is going to be the name, the field name, which menu says menu, blah, 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 blah. Same thing we have here. And so what this does allow you to do is you no longer have to define this form method, which can be, quite messy with lots of HTML and a bunch of other stuff that is really, just annoying to have to type all over again every single time that you create a widget. And so having this base widget lets you get rid of all of this annoying stuff that just gets in the way of actually getting stuff done. And just do something as simple as defining a bunch of configuration options for your widget, and having your base widget take care of all of the other stuff. And this also applies to the update part. We can now get rid of this update part because we know what kind of fields our widget supports. And so we're gonna place this update function here. And what we can do, we can loop through all of our fields. Type, switch the type, and in case it's a string, or the text, I guess. Then we can do one thing, but if it's something else, then we can do something. In case it's the other one, we do something else. Select. So in this case, for any text fields, essentially what we're going to do is again, we can do value equals not empty new instance name. Then we can do new instance name, otherwise null. And so it's not null. Then we can say instance name equals sanitized text field. Right, and then over here we'll do almost the same thing, except for in this case we're doing, end value, and then we just return instance. And again, as you can see, with writing out this code in here in the base class, we're saving ourselves from having to write the update method and the form method every single time for every single widget that we create. And over time, that definitely adds up. And I would just start with the types of fields I usually use for widgets, whether it's a select or whatever. And again, like if you have a select, this is a bad example that I did right now. Like you're gonna have more than type and name, right? So maybe a more realistic a more realistic example would be something like this, where you have an array of configuration options for that field. You know, you can have a type that's string, and you can have a label that's you know, your title or whatever. Obviously, you know, to use localization functions. I'm just giving a quick example, somewhat quick example. You know, but then for, you know, some options, you're gonna have some different stuff in here. You're gonna have a type of select, for example, right? And you're gonna have options, which is gonna be an array of, you know, option A, option B, and so on. And again, you know, you're just configuring this stuff, and then your base class is going to actually take care of rendering and validating and all of that stuff. So, you know, it makes sense. It can definitely save your lifetime. But in this case, I'm not really going to do this because I just have like one widget so far. Honestly, taking all this time to write this out, I feel like I could use that. Okay. Yeah, I might just use that. Okay. So I'll have to clean it up a little bit. And I guess you actually see it in use. So, okay, let's, I'm not sure where to place this stuff now, right? So let's register potential place for it. Definitely not in the resources. I guess in the app, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I'll make a new folder here. Call it widgets. No, not in here. Yes, just move it in there. Okay, app widgets. Okay, now we have app widgets. I'll create a new file, and I'll call it base widget PHP, and add the namespace, add widgets. So place my widget in here. It's going to be called base widget, and it extends the widget, but from the without the namespace. If you don't add this in here, PHP will potentially look for the widget in the current namespace and not find it. I'm not sure if it goes up to look for this class in the global namespace. Maybe it does. Okay. Yes. So yes, instead of type, this is now going to be options. Type will be here. Options type. Okay. And again, this becomes options type equals options type. Label equals if it's set options. Actually, let's just force ourselves into using that, because if we're doing this, then this cannot be localized, and that's not cool. So, make sure that we always define the label. Just don't accept, don't auto-generate label. Okay, and so here we're going to echo label. We have a type. Okay. Right, so we're gonna have to get the menus here. I don't need a menu select, so I'm not adding a menu select. No need for that. Okay. So nav menu widget form controls. Well, that's not our case. So we're gonna do, custom widget. Form controls, for example. We can always change this later. Okay. Again, we're gonna get rid of menu select because we don't need it right now. Okay. Okay. So this is our base widget. Next one we're going to do is create another file. This one's going to be called social links widget PHP. Again, define our namespace, app widgets, and it's going to be class social links widget extends base widget, and we're going to have our constructor in here. And I'm gonna look at this one. So we have some widget options, ID base. Okay. Oh, I do want to. I guess we're not using our constructor there yet. That's fine. Okay. So completely skip our base widget because we don't have the construct method defined there. And so we want ID base to be something like, well, let's grab these options, description, post, social media links, very simple. Customize selected refresh true. It's not true, in this case it's false. Because if we define this as true, the customizer will not reload the whole page, which is good, but it means that we have to actually write some JavaScript code in order to, update the values and like rebuild the whole widget, when we're editing it through the customizer. Which in this case, honestly, like this is something that you set up once and then you forget about it. So I don't think that's really necessary. So let's just set it to false here. ID base, Heresy, social links, for example. The name will be social links, Heresy, and then our widget options. Going here. Okay, and we also want to define this fields equals an array, and in here we have, what do we have? We have Facebook URL, which is type text and has label of Facebook URL. Heresy. And I'm just grabbing all of these, duplicating them because they're pretty much essentially the same. Only change the keyword. Instagram URL, YouTube URL, and then Twitch. Oh, And the design does include a Google Plus, but it's going away in like a week, 10 days, whatever, something like that. So, yeah, I'm not even gonna include it, honestly. Okay, so that's correct. What we are going to want to define is our widget function. Okay, we're going to grab this description because it's very good. Place it right there. So what we want in here. Oh, we do have a title too. I'm sorry, my bad. So here's title, type text, and it just says title. So again, it's honestly just it's fine to just grab all of this code and get rid of the one that we don't need. So in this case, you know, they're getting the save nav menu, and if there isn't one, they're not outputting anything. In our case, what we can do is the following. So grab all these. And define them as variables. And if we have that URL, for instance, then we're gonna grab it. Otherwise, we'll say that it's false. Okay, and so we don't have all these. Then we're going to reject. So essentially, if none of the URLs have been put out, just go back and do nothing. Okay, so we have a filter. So widget title is a standard filter within WordPress. At least it's used across all the built-in widgets of WordPress. And so, you know, applying this within our own widgets makes sense. So yeah, we can just do that. Args before widget. So these are some parameters that are set up within when we register the widget area, and I think we can find this in setup PHP. Yeah. So here's our config: before widget, after widget, and before title and after title. The good thing to do here is really to just have widget title, for example. And so essentially, args before widget and args before title and after widget are just these parameters that are passed when the sidebar was being set up. Now your widget can choose not to output these, but I'm guessing someone's going to be mad at you at some point if you do that. It's still visible. A little bit cut off. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, so I would just, you know, make sure to use them unless you have like a really good reason not to. You should just keep them in there. If your widget doesn't have a title, then it's fine to not use before title and after title. But if it does have one, then use it. It will help keep the look of your widget consistent with the rest of the widgets, which is a good thing. Now this code here is specific to the nav menu, so we're going to get rid of it. And instead we're going to do is the following. I guess we can say social links. And you can have a social links link. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is just go through all the links. And then, so if we have Facebook URL, then we're going to do the Facebook URL. So, and here, social links, link Facebook. Okay, and what I like to do is just paste this all the times that I need it, and then select my keyword, and just press the shortcut for adding cursors to the next match. And so what happens now is that I can change this to Twitter URL. You can go back down here, select 3 times again, and change this to Instagram URL. Do that again, change this YouTube URL, and again to Twitch URL. 245, yes, 245, yep. So this last one we don't need anymore. Okay. And so now the next thing is in our setup PHP, we're gonna want to actually register our custom widgets. And the reason I know this, besides doing it before, is if you look up WordPress and Widgets API, you can find the documentation for all of this stuff. So developing widgets, it explains a little bit about the base class and whatnot. You'll need to extend the standard WP widget class and some of its functions, blah, blah, blah. And as you can see here, the widget can then be registered using the widgets init hook. So when you need to hook into widgets init, and then you call register widget with the name of your class. And that's pretty much all that we have to do. So in here, we can see we've registered our sidebars. And what we're going to do is also call register widget. And we're going to give it the full path to our widget. So widgets and then social links widget. App widgets, social links widget. And now, if we go back over here to the widgets page and we reload the page, we should see our custom social links. Show social media links. And if we drag it over to the footer, we should see our interface. See? Pretty cool, isn't it? In theory, it should even work. I'm not 100% sure about that though. Okay, so it's called social media. Social media. Save it and see if it clears up. Okay, so it does save. That's a good sign. Facebook.com, Twitter.com, Instagram.com. I like to just fill these out as with the placeholders, and then get the actual Twitch.tv. Get the actual links later on. This is essentially so that I can have something to work with. And now if we go back to the front page and we reload it, we have social media, but we have nothing there. Well, that is not a good sign. I can tell you that much. Oh, okay, we're good, It is all in here, but because we don't have text or anything like that, they're just not visible. Yay, it works. Success. Okay, so now it's a matter of styling this. So I hope this example is actually good at illustrating why exactly it is that this approach is, convenient. In this case, it's even convenient. Like, this base widget, I can now pretty much just copy this code, put it somewhere, and then I can just include it anytime I need to build a widget. And then I only have to do, this part and the rendering part, and that's all, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And again, granted, this is a very simple example where it only handles text fields, but if that's all you ever put into a widget, who cares, right? It does the job for you. And as you run into more types, you're gonna just create more cases, like handle individual ones. You can have a case for text area, which is very similar to the text one, especially as I think there's a difference in utilization function, but oh well. Yeah. So as you keep using it and you find more use cases, you just adapt your base widget, and it becomes this useful tool that you have in your arsenal that you can just pull up and use it right away. Cool. I got distracted. Okay. So yeah, I would want to actually style this stuff. I do want to grab these icons first though. Okay, they're different icons. I'm like, why is this? Why are all these icons called ID? Okay, we do have a different one. Facebook icon footer, Instagram icon footer, Twitter icon footer, Twitch icon footer, YouTube icon footer. I think that's all 5, right? 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. Let me download these real quick. Waiting a little bit. Always fun. Should have probably just downloaded these. Oh, come on. It would have been faster if I just downloaded the individual files. Hello. There we go. Okay. Get up and make a new folder. Heresy. Save it there. Okay, so now let's rename these. YouTube icon. I'm gonna grab all these and I'm gonna drop them right into web app, themes, heresy, resources, assets, images. Okay, there we go. So they're right here. I can close this now. Oops. Okay, it's in some sort of loop. I think just reloading the page fixes that problem though. Apparently it does not. Why are you broken? Do not be broken. No. Why you do this? I'm confused by this. Why does it keep reloading the page? Huh. Okay. How to reload again? That fixed it. Okay. I mean, sure. Works for me. So now what I want to do is I want to style all of these. How would I place them all? I bet that's something. Okay, let's start off with some other styles first, I guess. So in this case, this doesn't necessarily have to be in the footer. Oh, it's most likely gonna be in the footer actually. Components. Okay, comment, auto mode. I guess maybe over here. So on file, let's go to social links widget, maybe. Okay. Just make sure that we're actually talking about the widget. Social links. And then social links link. So now we'll do inline block and background repeat, background position, center. What else do we need here? Background color transparent. Okay. And what we can do here is I think there was something I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, probably not. I remember I read about some way to write SAS for Ben. I don't quite remember what it was though. I digress. So let's not stay on course. Background image. We have URL, and that is going to be yes. I think images, and then the logo. I'm not sure where it looks for once it's compiled. But let's save this and let's see what it tells us. Essentially, I saved that. It's not being included anymore though. Yes, so nothing changes. Okay. I think in main CSS. Yeah, let's include this and maybe see. It seems to be social things. This seems to be in alphabetical order. Okay, so it's compiling now, and let's see what happens. And we have unexpected empty line before row. Okay. Line 3. Okay, there. No empty line this time. And in the browser we still don't have anything. We do. Well, we kind of have something, but not enough. Whoa. Okay, let's do 40 pixels. Okay, 40 pixels. Oh wow. Okay, so I did find the image. That's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So I guess I can put size on those. It's gonna be rough. It's not gonna be actual. 21 by 21. Don't know. Yeah, I guess something like 20 by 20 maybe. Let's see how that looks like though. Oops. Okay, let's try 30 by 30 and see what happens. So we're gonna say width, rem calc, 30 pixels, 30, height, rem calc, 30. Save that. We'll look over to the browser. Ooh, okay. I didn't need to copy this over for all the links. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Save this. Go back over to the browser. And there we go. Here's all of our links. They're all stuck together, which is not ideal. So what we should do instead is figure out how to space them out evenly. So CSS. What's this go? I believe this is the best way I can think of getting to that particular flex. Okay. CSS flex. Space between items. Space evenly. Maybe. What do I feel like maybe this grid also has something? Grid. Let's see. XY grid, flex grid. Get XY grid. Basic scatters, auto sizing. Okay. Take up the remaining space. No, that's not happening. Collapse cells, responsive adjustments, grid frame, critical grids, that's reference. I feel like they'd probably have something like that too. Even fit. So what if we do grid container fluid grid X? Okay, let's try this. Okay, see what happens. Okay, we don't care about this widget anymore. I don't care about the scratch pad either. Don't care about default widgets. The social links widget I do care about. Let's try and add grid container fluid div grid X. And then div.style for each one of those. Okay, see what happens next. What happens next will shock. No, not really. Hello, there should be some more stuff there though. Grid container, fluid. But then where's grid X? Reload the page perhaps? Okay, yes. So, that's not working correctly. What about this auto stuff? Auto sizing. And why grid X, grid margin X. Interesting. That is not a very auto size. Okay, that's a little better. What? Oh, yeah, not very auto size. Yeah, not the best. I wonder if I'm not understanding it correctly. Small for take up the remaining space. Interesting. I want this. So auto with alpha. Okay, is that what we're getting here as well though? It is. So I guess it only works. It only works if one of the other ones has a size to it already. That's not ideal. Multiple expanding cells will share their leftover space equally. So I guess, but the problem is I don't know how much space I'm going to have on one of those. Nope, same thing as before. Except for we don't want grid container here. Okay. Auto cell, small for auto. Yeah, it's not ideal because the problem is we don't know how many cells we're gonna get in there, right? I could potentially, maybe just like do a fake one. Probably not the best option, I imagine. So what if we do with plus cell small one? What about that? Is that gonna work? Yes. Let's get a small 4. No, it's not working. Oh, so okay, that kind of works. It's not ideal. The problem is I want it to spread across the whole thing, and it's not doing that right now. Okay, let's see what CSS, what this one says. Syntax, blah blah blah. We're at 40%. How is it 40%? Okay. So what if I say, let's delete this one. Wait, what? Now it's working. That's weird. Okay. Okay, let's try and setting auto to all of them. Because it seems like maybe it works. Okay, I guess it does work. I just have to text line center maybe? It's not gonna look good. No. I guess we'll leave it as that for right now. Okay. Yeah, it seems to work. Okay, I'll take that. Looks good to me. Okay, so now we kind of have our footer all pretty much most of them. I guess the footer could have, they can stand have some margin top. So let's do that real quick. And zone count, I don't know, 50, for example. Is that too much? No, I think that's good. Plus, okay. So yeah, the footer is kind of ready. I don't like this spacing here. Oh, come on. So I feel like the widget title does need more margin bottom. So what I'm going to do is change this from H3 to widget title. Hope it works. And margin bottom will be 20 run count of 20. Let's see how that works out. Okay, there. So we have a little bit more spacing between our content and our widget title. That's good. That's what we want. Font size 27 pixels. That's good. And it should be in the city, regular. Okay, good. Okay, so footer is pretty much done. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the next page, the next part, change to here, is start working on something else. That means I have to figure out what I want. Oh, I guess I can fix this problem real quick. Yes, certainly. Because that does not look nice. So I think if we force state as active, no, force state as, I guess it's focus, yeah. So force state as focus is what we actually want. Okay. Close button focus. We don't want that to be the color. Close button focus. Here's the variable. So we can just override and our variables. CSS file, which is common variables SCSS. So we have close button color and close button color hover. Go back to the browser. There we go. So now we're fine. Okay, so that's good. Introducing Heresy. Okay, so we definitely don't have that part done yet. Yes, on the home page, the other thing is on the home page, this heading should be part of the header banner. So that's curious. Because the header banner right now is not part of the same thing. Let's see. I guess potentially we could have a different banner to handle things differently on the homepage. That could be one way to do it. Introducing Heresy. Alternatively, we could start building out our custom post type player. Jumpers, blah blah blah. Yeah, potentially. That might be more interesting. So just recently I learned about Clover. Oh, it's an alpha still. Or Acorn. WordPress plugin framework. That's fun. Assessment plus fence file systems and more. Interesting. Okay. So it's still in early access. Interesting. So these two projects, Acorn and Clover, seem quite interesting, and I would definitely follow them. Yes, so there's no access to that. There is access to the GitHub repo for Acorn, which is interesting. Okay. So that's gonna be interesting for sure. Look at that, service providers and everything. Nice. Okay. Craziness. Okay, cool. So I guess I'm not gonna be using this just yet. Okay. But anyway, those are cool things that I'm personally looking forward to learning more about in the coming months, perhaps. So what we can do instead is we can have a new plugin. So what I can do is I can go to plugins directory, and I can use LPCLI to scaffold a plugin. I'm going to use the help to look into, okay, so plugin slug there. Okay, so let's call a prompt. Okay, slug heresy slash dash utils heresy utils name heresy utils custom plugin for the heresy Age of Empires 2 theme website. For example, development plugin URI empty skip tests. Sure. No CI provider. Activate yes, please. Activate network no. Force no. Thanks. Let's see utils. So now I have to repeat all those steps again. Heresy utils. Heresy utils. And see Age of Empires 2 problem. Money cannot be found. Really? Okay, so apparently it expects to give it the path to the plugins directory, which, okay, I guess it makes sense. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Now we have a plugin directory with a plugin file that has nothing in there. So that's what's fun. So here's our plugin file. It just has our, comments, and that's about it. And then you can build whatever you want with that plugin. You can take it, any direction that you want. I might finish up the stream today, and then next time take things further with the plugin. So let me write these down somewhere because I will forget them. But next time, what I plan on doing is setting up let's just try to post. Next string. Okay. So I need to create a custom post dialog there, and I want to create a Gutenberg block meta box for the player custom post type, where we can enter for the player custom type for ease of entering custom information like social media links. How do I actually go? What? I don't know. Social media links, name, game, page, etc. Okay. And yes, the cool thing about Gutenberg, then I'll get tutorial for Laravel and WordPress development. In what sense? As in developing, like mixing them together, or just separately? So yeah, the cool thing about Gutenberg is that you can create blocks that you essentially replace custom meta boxes with just Gutenberg blocks, and you can make them so that they always appear on the backend for that custom post type, and that's pretty neat. Yes, integrated. Okay, well, I do work on a project where we have a very deep integration between WordPress and Laravel, and we're actually looking to switch to Laravel fully, but it's messy, and it depends on how much you want to take over from like Laravel. I think this project, Acorn, might actually be a really good place to look into what they're doing, because they do have a GitHub repository, and so they already have some of this stuff done, and it might really be like a good. I haven't tried using it, but it is the same people that did Sage and Roots and all that, and I've been impressed with their stuff. So I would definitely start looking there, because Acorn is supposed to support a lot of Laravel components, so it seems like a good place to start. in my opinion. Yeah, so take a look at that. Take a look at the GitHub repository. See if you can like get it, spin it up, and make it run locally. Figure out how to use it. I don't know if they have any issues or a wiki. We do have some issues. That's kind of all. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Back to this though. So yeah, I do want to get the Gutenberg blog meta box for the custom post type, so we can enter all of this information. And I'm not sure. Probably we're just gonna have like a static interface in the front end, where we just do like blade templates for all this stuff. So I guess I don't want this to go away. And then start working on the front end implementation of the single PHP. Okay, I think that's quite enough things to do for next time. Let me update this, and I'll make sure to put that on there. Yeah. So definitely, this is what I'm going to look into doing next week, March 28th, right? Yes. Okay, with all that being said, thank you for taking your time to hang out with me. I hope you learned something new. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me during the stream next time or leave them on the YouTube video. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for your time. Have a good day or evening, and I'll see you in a week.